the lights on, cameras roll, time to break the mold. No more silence, every story's gotta be told. Truth in the air, no filter, no disguise. Real talk, real change, we open up your eyes. We got the voices that are changing the game. Fearless, unchained, calling our names. From the struggles to the rise, we expose, we ignite. No topic too deep when you step in the light. We got the answers, spotlight and your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. From the pain to the power, the lessons we learn. Voices of the people, let the fire burn. Dr. Donna, Dr. Laxley, leading the way, guiding the truth in a world full of gray. Experts, activists, voices untold. Everyday heroes with stories so bold. This is more than a show, it's a movement, a spark, illuminating shadows, bringing light to the dark. We got the voices that are changing, be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. Step into the spotlight, let your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. We got the voices, spotlight, let your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. And if you want the real, then tune in right now. We're breaking down walls, no backing down. One mic, one voice, one mission tonight. Step into the spotlight, let's get it right. Let's get it right. Head to the spotlight. Let's get it right. What do?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Spotlight. This is the home of unfiltered conversations where real talk is what we do. I am none other than Dr. Donna Thompson.
And I'm Dr. Laxley Stephenson, and together we are your moderators.
Yay! It's Thursday.
You know, Donna, I like how that video had rested. Because I don't want to say it ended, right? Because it's ongoing. When we're talking about in the spotlight, there's no such thing as an end, right? It's just ongoing. But it rested on I am walking in my purpose. And why that is so important, because tonight, in fact, for all of April, we're dedicating it to In Pursuit of Purpose. And that is so important, right? Because especially in times of uncertainties, time of challenges, it is more important for us to have a better understanding as to why we're here. And I'm not just talking about why we're on this platform or why there are, people, watching this show tonight or just going about their everyday daily life. I'm talking about what they're called to do, how they can make a difference.
Right.
Realizing what their true purpose is. their calling, so to speak. So tonight and for the rest of this month, April, we're going to talk about in pursuit of purpose. Are you good with that?
I am good with that.
You're good with that?
Yes.
I just knew you would be, because you are a person about your purpose. You know, and that's why we have this movement, a collision with purpose movement. We have it because it's about purpose. So tonight we're going to have an in-depth, detailed conversation about purpose, and we're going to ask anyone watching to join in the conversation by making your comments and responding to the questions.
Right.
Right? So again, welcome to In the Spotlight, where real talk is what we do. Raw and filtered, whatever it is, nothing is left on the table.
Nope, it's not.
We're not leaving anything out there, right? We're not leaving anything. So thanks, Paulette, for joining us. We appreciate that. All right. So, Donna, we have some other things happening, though, in Atlanta. And this is a big piece coming up. And I'm going to play the video. If you can just talk a little bit about it and why it's important that we as a community support it.
Okay. So yes, so we have the Afro-Caribbean High School Jammins that is taking place April 17th.
April 17th.
April 17th, I believe, and it's from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Tickets are $40, and that is taking place at, I'm sorry, I can't
It's
see.
at front page.
Front page.
8010 Rockbridge Road in Latonia.
Right.
It's from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. So this is a big deal. Afro-Caribbean High School Jammins. And, you know, there's an opportunity for you to go back and revisit your early days by dressing up in your old high school gears, right? I know.
And if you still can't wear the gears, you know, just wear the colors.
Yeah, wear the colors. It's all about the colors, right? Which high school did you go to, Donna?
I went to St. Hugh's High School. And when I attended St. Hugh's High School, the color was green. But now it is blue. So I'm not sure what color I would wear, if I should wear green, blue, or would, maybe both. I don't know.
All right. So we got to figure it out. We have some time to figure it out, what your colors should be, right? If you can't find your colors, you can adopt my school.
Oh, there you go. What's your color?
You can adopt my school. But we want a big turnout here. And this is a prelude to JIF's Festival Song Competition that will be coming up, in July. So we want to really push hard on this and get it out there and, just create an impression and, just begin the movement towards the Festival Song Competition, right? So that's for that one. Then we have another big thing coming up, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, right? And again, before we play the video, I just want to run through this piece. Something big is coming to Atlanta. We are preserving Jamaica's rich culture. We invite you to be a part of this groundbreaking initiative. Atlanta's cultural scene will never be the same. The Jamaican Museum and Cultural Center is about to announce something big, and you can help us in getting the word out. Again, because of our mutual love and respect for the traditions of our country, Jamaica, I am asking you to share this video with all your supporters and our associates. We all need to join hands and hearts to protect and preserve this rich legacy, which is our Jamaican culture. So here's the video.
I am Dr. Apollon Reed, President of the Jamaican Museum and Cultural Center.
I am Christine Mizuka, Vice President of the Jamaican Museum and Cultural Center.
We want to let you know that something big is about to happen in Atlanta, and you don't want to miss this.
The countdown has begun, and things are about to get electrifying.
Brace yourself, because what is coming will change everything you can imagine about Jamaica. Let us make history together. You've waited long enough. The moment is almost here.
Get ready to witness something unforgettable. We're bringing the rich history, culture, and legacy of Jamaica right to the heart of Atlanta. But we cannot do it without you.
Join us, support the movement, and be a part of something truly groundbreaking.
This is history in the making, and you are a part of it.
Jamaican Museum and Cultural Center is coming to Atlanta. And as the president and vice president said, this is history in the making, and you are part of it, right? So that's big stuff, huge stuff there, Donna, huge stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I think that is actually amazing, and it's something great that is happening here, especially, you know, when I visited they just had the Marcus Garvey event a few weeks back, and to be present in that church, knowing that he was there 100+ years ago in that church on that podium to give his speech, and the significance of his work in the country, but also especially here in Atlanta. And to have this happening, a museum to preserve our culture, our legacy in Atlanta. Oh my gosh, it's no words can actually express how important this is. And we all need to support it, because this is legacy. This is a seed that was sown how many years ago when he came here to see this is happening now. It just shows how rich our culture is and how important of a people we are. So we have to support it.
And we will support it, and we will be looking not just for Jamaicans to support it, because this is about much more. It's bigger than just Jamaica, right? Bigger than just Jamaica. Because Jamaica is such a factor, such an important part of other cultures, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
So we're looking for all hands on deck, not just Jamaicans, but people across the board to get on board with this. So there's more to come. There's more to come, and just stay tuned. Stay tuned to that. All right. The big thing for us here at A Collision with Purpose is we're going to Kenya. We are going to Kenya. So I'm going to play another video, and I know you will, you'll share information on this one with us.
All right. Yes. So we are going to Kenya. Our trip is set for this coming June, which we're headed out on the 20th. On the 6th to the 20th. And lots of work. The itinerary is still being built, but currently our major initiatives is we're doing pit toilets, potentially at 2 schools in Kenya. So be doing 2 toilets in Kenya, building 2 toilets in Kenya for the children at 2 schools. Then we're going to have, of course, the sanitary towel initiative, where we know that sanitary pads is a crucial thing for the girls in that region. So it's almost like a luxury item, believe it or not, for those children to have. So we do have an initiative that is taking place for the sanitary towels. We're taking dental care packages there as well. We will be having a clothing drive, and we will be planting trees for sustainability. We'll be visiting orphanage, and definitely we'll be visiting some of our cancer fighters that is there. That's of course fighting that horrific disease. But within, that's a lot that we've said there that we'll be doing. And of course, with all of this, there is a cost, right? So to do all these various initiatives, there is a cost that's associated with that. So if anyone would like to, donate or sponsor any of these initiatives, you can definitely reach out to a collisionwithpurpose@gmail.com, and we can have a conversation about that. But very important trip that is coming up. It's a very important community outreach trip that is coming up, that's taking place.
And I posted the Zelle ID. If anyone out there is watching or will watch this broadcast and feel it within their heart to contribute to the initiative, they can certainly donate through Zelle. And I posted that in the chat, in the comment section. So that's big stuff right there. We're going to Kenya, June 6th through the 20th. And our work there is to help the most underserved in various communities, right? Most underserved. And that we'll be going to schools, as you said, and we'll be going into orphanage, and we'll be working with individuals who are fighting this horrible disease, as you rightfully call it, right? So big stuff to do there, big work to do there, but I know we're up to the task, and we're getting good support so far. We're getting real good support, but we need more of you out there to get on board with this initiative. All right? So that's big stuff. Donna, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get to why we're here tonight.
Okay,
in
sure.
Pursuit of Purpose. Let's do that.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection, and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth, cause I know to whom I belong. I am bold for Christ, Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as He told me to pray, for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, He is in me. I am a bold kid, He loves me, standing firm on His word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because He is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth, because I know to whom I belong. I am bold for Christ, Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid.
All right, welcome back to the show, In the Spotlight, right?
Yeah.
And tonight, Donna, we're going in pursuit of purpose. And for April,
Right.
we will be doing it on every single show. It's all about purpose. And earlier in the show, we said that this is important because we're living through some interesting times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it is more important than ever before to know why you're here. So that's going to be another conversation we'll have next week. Why are you here? Why are you here? But for tonight, we're going to go in pursuit of purpose, and we will be using this thing here, Donna, to guide our discussion tonight.
Oh, on the Earthing You.
Yeah. You want to say something about this?
Unearthing You, your guide to self-discovery and personal growth. Wow, what a powerful book. So this is a workbook. And it definitely dive into, you know, the title Unearthing You. It really dives into really digging deep down inside of who you are and really discovering who you are. Not who you think you are, right? But who you really are. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because it is meant to improve yourself and for you to grow. So, it is time consuming. If you go through the book, it's probably about, an 8-hour course, 8-hour or more course, because it truly is work. It has a number of, you probably can't see my pages, but it has a number of exercises where it asks you questions. You have to answer the questions. It has a brainstorming activity. And ultimately, in the end, you will be defining your purpose and how to live your purpose. And also, it has exercises for you to come back and do some follow-up work. Like a 30-day, 60 days checkup. You have those exercises as well, where you come back and you really follow up on how you're doing. So if you're really serious about your growth and where you want to be in life and where you're going, this is definitely a great workbook to have and a guide to get you there.
Right. So it is an 8-hour course if you take our workshop that we present. Now, if you purchase this book, and I did, I dropped the link to purchase the book again in the chat. If you purchase it, it's you have it for a lifetime. And a pursuit of purpose is a lifetime thing. It's not I'm here, I've arrived. It's ongoing, continuous development, becoming better, and evolving as your purpose evolves, as life, life situation pop up and show up, and everything just change. All of a sudden, whoa, things are different, right? So you'll have this book as a book for life with all the revisions and so forth that will be coming out. All right, so that's the book we're going to be teaching from tonight, because indeed I see this as classroom time, and we'll all be learning, including us, the presenters. So Donna, how do we get this started? There's no better way to have a conversation about purpose than to have a definition, and not just a raw definition, but a definition like, what does purpose truly mean to you? And so how would you personally define living a purposeful life?
I'm gonna read from the book as well, but for myself, I would say it's really the things that I'm doing in life that is fulfilling, to where I know I am making a difference to humanity. And in whatever capacity that may be, whether it's through servant leadership, in serving community, whether it's my time, my resources. For me, I feel that is my purpose in life, is to serve humanity, so that I can uplift someone, the betterment of someone else.
Uplift someone for the betterment of someone else. And yeah, so for me, we talked about why am I here, and I said we'll be having that discussion next week on our show. Is having clarity about knowing my purpose, is having clarity about knowing about why am I here, and then aligning my actions to that understanding as to why I'm here. So living a purposeful life means feeling, it's a deep connection to what I'm doing, and believing that my actions make a difference. That's when I know that I am in that place of purpose. Anything else you want to add, Donna?
Do you mind if I read from the book?
Absolutely. We're working through the book tonight.
Okay. So I'm looking at page 2, and it says understanding your purpose. And what I'm going to read here is that it says, understanding your purpose gives direction and meaning to your life. It helps you align your actions, goals, and decisions with what truly matters to you, fostering a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. It allows you to prioritize your time and energy, focusing on activities contributing to your overall growth and happiness. And it allows you to live a more intentional and purposeful life, leading to tremendous personal and professional success.
Right. And again, you're reading from this book here,
Yes.
Unearthing You, Your Guide to Self-Discovery and Personal Growth. And I did post the link. You can purchase this book. Highly recommended. Go out there and get it. As Donna said earlier, if it's this book is an 8-hour workshop that we present, but if you purchase the book, you have it for a lifetime. You have it for a lifetime to work at your pace. So go out there and get it. Right. So, all right. So there's such a thing as purpose versus passion, right? Often confused, those two things. Are they synonymous? Or can they exist independently? And how do they complement or conflict with each other? Donna, you go first.
Oh, wow. It says like, sometimes your passion potentially fuels your purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are times when your purpose requires you to be more disciplined and committed. That goes beyond your feelings, like your passion, because your passion sometimes it doesn't have any necessarily guidelines. It's like your passion is just, I'm so passionate about this. I love this. So I'm just going to do it 24/7. There's no restrictions. There's no guidelines. You don't necessarily have goals or anything of that nature. So you have to have purpose within your passion, because you need to have that level of control to know that there is a goal. You have a goal. Your purpose is you have a goal to do something, to accomplish something. This is where I need to go. And allow your passion to help guide you, to achieve those goals. So I think even though they can work hand in hand, but you have to be mindful that your passion does not misguide you to not fulfill your purpose.
Great response. And I did post the question in the chat. So if anyone watching and would like to respond, they can do so. Yes. So, of course, passion can lead to purpose, right? Because we can be so passionate about something that we develop it into a purpose, right? But it is also possible to have multiple passions, right? While purpose tend to be more focused in an overarching way, right? Mm-hmm. So another thing that you touched on, you said sometimes passion fuels your purpose. Other times, your purpose tend to demand more discipline and commitment beyond immediate feelings, which is what passion generally is, right? Immediate feelings. Because today you're passionate about something and tomorrow you lost it. You're no longer passionate. So you let it go. So that's quite a distinction there with purpose. That purpose thing, that passion thing is a great thing in order to fuel. So you wake up very passionate. Guess what? You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. Yeah. So that's that one. Now, let's talk about discovering your purpose. Some of the signs and signals for you to know when you're there, right?
Right.
So let me, again, post that question in the chat just in case there's someone out there listening and would like to join the conversation. And so, Donna, what are some of these personal experiences or signals that often indicate we're aligned or misaligned with our purpose? Because that is also a possibility, right? We can be misaligned.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I think when you're aligned with your purpose, you tend to feel energized, you're motivated. Um even if it's even if it's challenging, like you don't get tired, you don't necessarily feel that tiredness. You feel a sense of peace, fulfillment.
Mhm.
And that, those are some of the signs, that can indicate that you're on the right track. Now, when you're out of alignment, you can find that you're doing things, right? You're doing things, you're doing tasks, you're working, whether it's your 9 to 5 or whatever it may be. You're doing the work, you're completing the task, you're completing the goals that's set ahead. But then at the end of it, there's a sense of dissatisfaction or
Mhm.
emptiness. You feel that something's missing, and that's kind of like one of those indication that you need to take stock and look at what you're doing and if you're really aligned with your purpose.
So misalignment is when you get a sense of emptiness
Mhm.
and you sort of get that signal that, maybe I'm off course.
Maybe yeah,
Why
something's
am I not feeling fulfilled?
right.
This is my thing. This is what I'm called to do, right? Why am I not feeling fulfilled? So that's a sign. That's a sign that you need to pay attention to,
Mhm.
But when you're feeling so energized, motivated, and good within yourself, even when this thing is so difficult, the thing you're working on is so challenging, you can't wait to get up tomorrow. In fact, you don't want to go to sleep because you're
Yeah,
losing time. You're losing time, right?
it consumes you.
You don't want to go to sleep because this is too important.
Right.
I'm missing out. Yeah. So that is really the difference right there. But let's talk about, internal reflection and how important is that. So let me post the question again. Let me post the question again. Internal reflection. How do internal dialogues and self reflection play a role in uncovering our life's purpose?
Um, well, based on what we have here, it says, self-reflection helps to uncover deep-rooted values and desires, right? Which clarify one's purpose. So it's very important to sit and really have those deep inner conversations with oneself so that it's almost like when we say take off the mask, right? Really, stand in front of the mirror, take off the mask and really, really, do those deep dive inner soul searching reflection of yourself and really ask those questions. Am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I doing the thing that I find satisfying? You have to have those in-depth conversations with honest, in-depth conversations with yourself. And if you don't, I think if you don't, you're always going to be going around in a circle, almost like a hermit crab, trying to find yourself.
The powerful thing about self reflection, it not only will it, well, let's put it this way, it will really, it helps you to uncover deep rooted values and desires, which can be positive and negative, right?
Exactly.
Right?
You may get some
So,
bad things that you don't like.
you, you know, oftentimes, when we say we're going to do some self reflection or introspection or whatever, it's not always, it's the outcome, if depending on how you receive it, is always good.
Correct.
If you're willing to be honest, and you said that earlier, if you're willing to be honest and say, this is who I am,
Hmm.
not
Yeah.
all of it is where I want to be or is good. So
No, because
there's
we're
some
not
things for me
perfect.
to shed, to get rid of.
Right.
So, and
Right.
that is one of the objective of your deep internal reflection,
Hmm.
because you're looking in that mirror and you need to say, take off the mask, get rid of all that nonsense. That thing that's been blocking my progress, and and get rid of that nonsense and say, man, there's some things that need to be fixed, and be open to fixing it. And that is when true growth begins, right? And that is when you find that you're on the path, you're
Correct.
in pursuit of your purpose. So listening to that inner voice, and you got to quiet things down, right? Listening to that inner voice will often reveal what truly fulfills you versus what you simply tolerate, what you put up with. And too often we're on the side of putting up with things, tolerating things, because there's a thing about growth and personal development and all that good stuff that requires serious work. And all this stuff is coming, by the way, it's coming from Unearthing You, Your Guide to Self-Discovery and Personal Growth. It's all in the book that Donna, you want to show that cover again?
Yeah, I'll try to see if, oh, my thing is.
Your thing is, it just wipe you out.
It's just wipe you out. Hey, those.
Yes. So, big stuff with self-reflection, that whole internal reflection. You got to quiet down the noise. And we're not talking noise on the outside. That too. But it's that internal noise that is rumbling in your brain, telling you, I am this, I'm that, I can't do this, and all that negative stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing in this world that you cannot do,
And the internal noise also could just be what people have told you, who you ought to be and not, and all these different things.
Yes. And that is what we call those deep-rooted values, because that's what they told you from day one. Right? So let's move to, and we're moving through this real quick because we can't cover everything, right? But we just want to put it out there. So let's move to the next segment where we're going to talk about, and again, I'm posting it in the chat, so it will always be out there for anyone who's going to watch this program, and they'll know what we're talking about and how to respond to these questions. So now we're talking about the role of challenges and adversities. And the discussion point is, in what ways have challenges and adversities guided you toward discovering your purpose?
Ooh, Lord.
Now, again, this is coming from the book Unearthing You, Your Guide to Self-Discovery and Personal Growth. So, Donna.
Oh my goodness gracious. Life experience. So many examples. Wow. But in all the life examples that I've lived, and adversities and challenges, growing up with a single mom and her having to, like most single moms, right? Having to work how many jobs and all those different things, right? Just to make ends meet. But within that environment, I've learned from my mom that no matter how little we had, she always found enough to share with someone else. And that's what she taught me. That's how I grew up. And even when things are really hard in our household, if someone out there needs, and I come to her and I'm like, hey, mommy, this is what's happening. Da, 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 da. We need to help this person. We're going to figure out how to help that person. I will always say that our pantry is always stocked. And no matter how we empty the pantry always ends up being stocked. It's just waiting for the next person. And that is how we lived. We've had an experience, and I'm going to tell you this because it's very profound. I remember it was during a few years back, it was during the holidays, and our refrigerator broke. Everything in the refrigerator went bad, and we had no money to get a new refrigerator. We had coolers in the house, right? Trying to, sustain ourselves. Anyway, we ended up being blessed where we ended up getting a refrigerator. And from that, we had someone else bless us with more than enough groceries and everything to restock our refrigerator to where we had extra stuff that could not fit in the refrigerator that we had to turn around and share with someone else.
Mm.
And that was a very challenging time because it was just me and my mom, having to go through this. But within our blessings, we were able to bless someone else.
Mm.
And those are the things that happen in my life over and over again. Those little things that happen in my life over and over again, where it's just reassuring and an indication that I am living my purpose by helping others. I am doing what I'm supposed to do.
Mm.
Because no matter how little I have, if there's someone that needs, it always happened where I can help. We can help. This household can help.
Wow. So I'm going to summarize what you just said. During some of your most challenging times, that's when your strength was revealed, right? Your
Mhm.
resilience and your understanding that you're not here just for yourself. So you use that and redirect it towards your energy and whatever resources and whatever you had in your cupboard. You make sure you towards something outside of you, something with the understanding that there are greater things, greater needs than your needs, even though you're struggling. And that's what
Exactly.
I'm hearing you saying. So challenges show us that to our strength, and we use that strength and redirect ourselves, our attitudes, our behavior towards something greater than ourselves, outside of us. Now, what about overcoming adversity, right? What about dealing with adversities? How do you address that?
Uh, you know, I overcome adversities honestly, where I look at it as, what is this teaching me?
Mm.
It's teaching me something. And I look at every single adversity that I've encountered in life as a teaching moment. And
Mhm.
I look at the lesson to be learned from that moment.
Mm.
Whether it's good or bad, it's always adversity. It's always teaching you something, and you have to take what it's teaching you and make it into the positive. You have to find the positive, because sometimes things happen, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful, or whatever it may be that you're going through, right? Whatever you may be going through at that time. It's just, it just could be that whatever it is that you're wanting, that's just not the time or the season for it.
Mm.
So you have to learn to be patient. And that's what I've learned is patience, is to be patient and to really look at everything, look at the whole dynamics of what I'm going through, and take the lessons from it that I need to learn and apply it to my life, the future, whatever it is, however I need to apply it, and apply it to my life.
So, for me, the important thing that I'm hearing is that when faced with adversities, no matter how tough, how challenging, you are looking to see, what am I here to learn from
Mm,
this situation? And that's what we're suggesting. Yes, life is not it's not an easy road, right? And
it's
you
not.
only hear someone who feels it knows, right?
It's not.
Man, especially these days, right? In fact, I just visited Uniontown, Alabama. You know, Uniontown, Alabama, and we're gonna do a show about that. And you
Mhm.
talk about not an easy road, and I'm not talking about the drive to get there. I'm talking about the life
The
and
life.
how people are living.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in an ecosystem which they're existing in. You know, and I say existing because that's what it seems like. You know, so within any situation that pops up, that shows up in your life, right? Because life is
Right.
gonna show up. Trust me, the most perfect situation is gonna, you know, something is gonna show up to rock it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know about that.
Oh
You
yeah.
know that something's gonna show up to rock it. Instead of folding and bending over and say, hit me again, we ought to say, what is the lesson in this for me to learn?
Mm-hmm.
Because believe me, there's a lesson. And if you're not learning that lesson, the next time you're rocked again, guess what? You're going to have to, hopefully by then, you will say, what is in this for me to learn? So in life, there are trials, there are tribulations, there are situations. Those things are going to come your way.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are exempt from that, from those things. But whenever they show up, we ought to be saying, what, instead of getting all crazy and emotional and frantic, 'cause you're not going to learn anything when you're like that, right? You're gonna be in a reactive stage, right? And that's the one thing you don't want to do, is be in a reactive stage. You want to be in a responsive place where you can respond to the situation. And the way you respond is to say, what am I to learn from this here situation? Because there are lessons, good lessons in even the worst things. They're great lessons, right?
In
So
everything.
in everything in life. So
Mhm.
let's move to personal relationships, right? And purpose. So I'm going to pose the question again, and then we will read them off. All right. So how does living a purpose-driven life impact our relationships with friends, family, and our community?
Oh my goodness. Um, I think for myself, it for people who know me, I think they understand um my purpose in life, and they understand that regardless of who you are, friend, family, foe, if there is a need and I can help, I'm going to help. Many times I'll probably overextend myself, right? But as long as I can do it, I'm going to help. But unfortunately, it does require at times that you do have to set boundaries
Mhm.
with, whether it's family or friends or even your community. Sometimes you do have to set boundaries, because you have to also use discernment to know if you are supposed to help in a certain situation, or if the Lord needs to be working on that situation and you don't need to interject. So you have to also know your place. And that's how I am. Pretty much I try to be, is, still knowing my place. And if I'm doing something, I know that I'm doing it because it is what I want to do, and I'm not being forced to do something against my will, or guilt trip into doing something that I know deep inside I don't want to do. So I try to be very mindful of that.
You know, I must say that you're so accurate in saying that you can manage boundaries very well. You have mastered that, and it has served you well to do so. By the way, let me read a couple comments here, because again, we're having this conversation, but we're also giving the opportunity to anyone watching to respond and join the conversation. So Chrison said, "Life happens, but learn from it and use it to be the best version of yourself." So accurate, right?
Mm.
We had Rosemary said, "Life will be life, and despite your best efforts." Thank God for Jesus and the assurance he provides. So true. So true. And let's get up to some other comments here. Again, Christina had said earlier, and I'm not sure specifically what she was addressing, but I'll read it. Perfect example of give, and it will come back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Yes. Dr. Thompson, I'm so proud of you and your mom for changing someone's life and making a difference. And you have certainly done that and earned. And everything Christina just said is so applicable to who you are as a person. And I will empower her to succeed. Crazy. She showed up on her brand, not her name. So it caught me off guard there. Said, amen, life happens. And that is so true. You know, life is, who was it? Was it that Forrest Gump? He said life is like a box of chocolate. You open that bad boy, you don't know what is popping up on you.
Oh my gosh.
How true is that?
That is
Right?
so true. You don't
Life
know.
is like a box of you never know what is coming up next. The
Any-
only thing you know for sure is that life is going to get in the way.
Mhm.
So something is going to happen. But
Yep.
it's
At
how
any
you
given time.
respond to it. It's how you respond to it. It's how you respond to it. You know, the thing about friends and family and community, I think having a purpose-driven life, it really helps to deepen your connection.
Mhm.
You know, and for you to have to be lit. I've always said that if you're walking in your purpose, you don't need to tell anyone. The
No.
people around you, your friends, the people who know you well, they will tell you what your purpose is. You don't have to explain it
Mhm.
because they see how you're living your life.
Because you're living it.
You're living it, and they will. And in fact, what is so powerful is the moment you get off the wagon, you jump off the rail, they'll come to you and say, why aren't you doing these things anymore that you used to do?
What's going
They'll
on?
check you. They'll check you. They will come to you and say, it's something going on that we need to
Mhm.
talk about.
Right.
Yeah. So they will tell you that, man, you need to get back on the track. You're off the rail, you know? So, and again, you really laid it out about setting boundaries, right? Because, and one of the reasons why we need to set boundaries is energy, right?
Mhm.
We got to be so careful as to who we let into our space, because they can bring negatives, they can bring negatives, and none of us are immune from negatives if we allow it to enter into our space. So
Right.
we got to fight it back. And the best way to fight off negatives is to get away from those folks. Not that you don't love them, but you can't afford them to take over your good self, you know,
Mhm.
your purposeful self. Because negative is so powerful. That thing spread like wildfire. People are attracted to negative thoughts, negative behaviors. People will just chase that stuff down. I don't know
Yeah.
why that is so, but we need to reverse that. So it is positive things that we chase. And that's what we do here at the Collision with Purpose. We have no time for negatives. We have no time for gossiping. It's all about what is meaningful in life, not just for us, but for others as well. So, all right, let's do one more, then take a quick break. All right, let's go to career, right?
Okay.
Because often when we thinking about our purpose, we try to separate our work and
Mhm.
say, oh, that's a job, we got to do that. But that's not so. It's real. It's real. So is it posted? Yeah, it's posted now.
Yeah.
So the question now is purpose inherently connected to your career, or can you fulfill your purpose independently from your professional achievements?
Oh. Ooh. That's a loaded one, right?
Well, it should be an easy one for you.
For myself, it's an easy one because I find that in my career, in my 9 to 5 and all the other businesses that I'm a part of, I am totally aligned with my purpose because they're all in some capacity. It's funny because they're all different sectors of businesses, right? However, the end result is the same. It's all serving. It's all serving the common good of humanity, whether
Mm,
it's in the medical sector, whether it's in the building sector, whether it's in the nonprofit sector. It all comes back to aligning with me, serving someone for the greater good of that person. So whatever they're getting from whichever service area I'm in, it still aligns with my purpose. And for others, I don't know. I don't know, what that answer would be, but I do know that at first I did not realize that, to be
mm,
quite honest with you. I did not realize that my career and all the other businesses, that at the end of the day, they all aligned with my purpose. It was not probably maybe 5 years or so ago that light bulb
mm,
actually went on in my head where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, whoa. Because I always thought like I was just busy doing different things in different business sectors because they're all separate. They're all different things, so I thought it was just business. But when I really sat and really looked at everything and analyzed it and collectively looked at everything that I was doing and the work that I'm doing, it all aligned with me serving humanity.
yes, indeed. And I can say that I have alignment. I have alignment, because even when I had my real estate firm,
Hmm.
most of the things I do in life is all about people, working with
Right.
people, empowering people. So there's definite alignment here. But the difference is, for me now, it's more intentional.
Hmm.
It's not just happening because it's happening by chance. No, it's very intentional. Very intentional. So, yeah, I would say that my career is closely aligned with my purpose, and it's really making every day count for something.
Right.
Every day count. And now, purpose, we don't want to diminish the significance of a job because that is essential. Everybody needs money, right? Right.
Hmm.
But there is what I have recognized and what I'm experiencing is that the more you do the kind of work that you're doing, Donna, the more good things show up in your life. So there are
Hmm.
rewards out there. Not that you're working for those rewards, but when there's alignment with who you are and the things that you're doing at work and your purpose, good things, flow in your direction. Good things.
Yep, they absolutely do.
Yeah. So I'm encouraging anyone out there who's listening. You first of all get our book, Unearthing You. Get your book, Unearthing You, or even better, join one of our workshop. Join one
Mhm.
of our workshop and do the work. Do the work in a proctored way, because if you're doing it by yourself, it's so easy not to do it. But do it with us, guiding you. That's a level of accountability there that is all it is necessary, right? Because I know often if I have to go pick up a book and do the answers and the questions, it's likely that I will take my time or might not even do it or skip tomorrow. So if you want to get involved in a workshop, let us know. We can do a one-on-one or we can do a group session. If you have a group, in fact, if you have a group of individuals, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you would like us to design a workshop from our book Unearthing You, we'll be more than happy to do so. And we can do it in person or virtually. We can do it online, right? So yes, purpose can transcend jobs, it's so many ways that but always try to make sure that your purpose is not just serving you, but it's serving others as well. And that is a purpose that is really meaningful, really meaningful. Donna, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about In Pursuit of Purpose. All right?
Okay.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid. I put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth. Cause I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as He told me to pray for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, He is in me. I am a bold kid, He loves me, standing firm on His word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because He is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Put on my armor and I write His word, blessing come out of my mouth. Because I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid.
All right, welcome back to In the Spotlight. Tonight we're in pursuit of purpose. Let's put it like that. Let's respond to we have a couple comments here from Career and Professional Life. And Rosemary said yes and yes, depending on the meaningfulness that one or both brings, right? So true. And Caricia, now she showed up as herself and not her brand. She said, sometimes your career is in alignment with your purpose once you're passionate about it. And Teresa, I'm not sure if you're on when we talk about passion and purpose and how they work together, but absolutely correct. Now, this is a big piece right here that we're going to talk about: spiritual and emotional well-being. What role does spirituality and emotional health play in discovering and pursuing one's purpose?
Well, I think, the being spiritually and emotionally healthy is important in assisting in discovering your purpose, because then when you're spiritually and emotionally healthy, you tend to have more clarity in your thoughts. You don't have the brain fog, the confusion of that tug and war, if I should be going this way or this way. You're at peace. You're at peace with who you are, your whole being, and your life path, and you understand that you're here for a greater purpose. You're here for a greater calling and not just self. So I think once you've gotten to the point where you're spiritually and emotionally healthy, then really carrying out your purpose becomes a lot easier, and walking it out becomes a lot easier.
Absolutely. And I just want to add that not all of life is on the surface. It's not what you see. It's more than what you see in that person, in
Right.
that whatever, right? And things happening in your community, there's something else. And that's why that spirituality thing is so important. It provides clarity and guidance, helping you to see beyond the surface level. Because so much that we see is not what it is.
It's
We
not what
talked
it is.
about it earlier, right? A
Mhm.
person who is not responding and addressing the things they see when they go into that deep self-reflection,
Mhm.
there's a lot of surface stuff that they're just let's not get too deep. Let's not go into the inner me.
Right.
Let's just focus on let's fool ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Let's fool ourselves. So that is definitely a factor. And what can we say about emotional health, right? Good emotional health. It holds the key, right? So in the comments over there from I'm sure we'll get some comments on that. We have a few more we want to cover and some big pieces, right? We want to talk about obstacles to pursuing your purpose. And that's a big, big deal because there are going to be obstacles. There will
Oh,
be obstacles, right?
yeah. Mhm.
So I'm going to post. And again, if you're watching us, join the conversation. Join the conversation. All right. So obstacles is a big piece. And again, we are working from our book here, Unearthing You. Get the copy. I posted the link. All right. So that's where we're working from this book. So let me post the questions. Obstacles to pursuing your purpose. Let's talk about fear of failure and rejection. How do fears hold us back from authentically pursuing our purpose? And how can we effectively address these fears?
Oh my gosh. I mean, fear, like literally, as we said, fear will potentially can paralyze you.
Mm,
And failure, because once again, a lot of us were, we're raised, it's embedded in us that failure is a bad thing, from the, from the time you're going to school, you come home with a B and your parents say, "Where's the A?" You can't fail. You have to be perfect. And even though, they're trying to do the right thing, right? To make sure you
mhm,
work hard, but, also not realizing that without failure, there is no room to learn. And there's no room to learn, there's no room to grow. And as we get older, these are things that we potentially can carry in our adult life. So you may have a purpose, you feel strongly about it, but because you don't, because a lot of times, you don't see the full picture of your purpose. You don't. There's no necessarily a blueprint to say do da 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 da, XYZ. So a lot of times, people, they're afraid to go and really try to do something different, to really be authentic to who they are. And
mhm,
so it stifles them from not really living their purposeful life, just because of that fear of failure. And
mm.
instead we should change our mindset, um to know that failure is a good thing, because that's how you grow. You learn from failure. You have to fail in order to learn so that you can grow.
So, Donna, I had a mentor, right? And he said to me, Laxley, if you're always achieving your goals, that's because you're not stretching your mind. You're not stretching your reach. And that's because your goals, simply put, your goals are not big enough. And that's what he said. So he said, understand that the depth, the size of your goals define your returns.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what he told me. And he was all right. So that was a lesson for me. It's not always achieved. He went on to say that if your goal is so big, so grand, that even if you only achieve 20%, it's better than someone who's achieving 100% of theirs. You're
This-
winning.
Mhm.
And I also want to think about how I deal with failures. And I don't always use the word failure because of the connotation, right?
Mhm.
But it is what it is, right? We can play with words. But when you change the way you look at things, what you see also change as well.
Mhm.
So if you redefine failure as a positive, as a way to learn and grow, then you will accept it for what it is. And then it will become a useful tool in your toolbox.
Mhm.
It'll become a useful tool in your toolbox. So I encourage anyone who's watching out there, look forward to the next thing you're going to fail at, but be open to learning the lesson or the lessons from that episode or for whatever you want to call it. Learn from your mistakes. Learn through other people's mistakes, their failures. In fact, that's the best way.
And we do that. I think we do that like constantly. We're like, oh, this happened. Wait a minute. Okay, so what do we learn from that?
And let me say something about rejection, right? Because rejection often, I use rejection as a positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I coming from a place where sales, I get rejected. But I've
Mm-hmm.
always seen rejection as a way of one closer to the yes. So if 5 people reject me, I said, damn, I almost said the wrong thing. I said, man, I'm getting closer to a yes. So I look forward to that rejection. Say, go ahead, reject me, because I know it's only a matter of time, because that's how numbers work, right?
Right.
It's only a matter of time before I get my yes.
Before you get the yes.
So fear not rejection. Look forward to it, because it's bringing you closer to your yes, right? It's bringing you closer to your yes. So let's talk a little bit about societal expectations, because that's a big piece as well, right? So again, I'm going to post it in the chat, and let's see. Oh, we have some comments here. Can you see the comments, Donna?
Yes, Carissa says fear comes as a result of how we were socialized. Sometimes we do not see the blueprint. We can't map it out, but it is unveiled each day and each season we encounter.
Absolutely. The things say, fear not. And the thing about having these fears and these anxieties and whatever you want to call it, guess what? Tomorrow is going to be a different day, a new day. And the thing that's creating all these fears, so all this stuff, often they resolve themselves anyway. You'll find that tomorrow is, and in fact, you should look, today is your best day, and tomorrow will be your best day, and the next day will be your best day, your most productive day. And that is the approach. And if you're approaching life like that, you are winning, irrespective of the failures or rejections that pop up, because you're operating within who you are, with the understanding that only you can shut you down, can topple you, right? So, all right. So I know this is a big piece, and you have, your book, your anthology coming out. We're talking about societal expectations and pressures. How do societal standards and external validations shape or restrict the pursuit of our genuine purpose? That's a big one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it. Oof.
Yeah, we're on a collision with purpose. We're about purpose. These are the conversations we want our community, our friends to be having. And so we are leading the way with this because this is our charter, our calling here.
That's a whole show. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because like we said, a lot of times, our society or environment, or community or family or friends, they all put expectations on who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to act, all these different things. And oftentimes it does not necessarily mold the individual into who they're created to be. And then they get to a certain point in their life when they get older and they realize this is where, you get to this point now where you're trying to find your purpose and, you start questioning everything. Oh, is this career really what I'm supposed to be doing? I've been doing it for 50 years, 30 years, but I'm still empty. There's more that I need to be doing, but I'm very successful. I'm making millions, but there's still something missing.
Mm.
And that goes to how you were raised and all the expectations that that was placed on you, that you have to function in this capacity, you have to have this job, this is a path that you must take. And because of that, along that journey, you lose your identity, you lose who you are, and then you get to a place now where, depending, because some of us are lucky enough where we may get to the point where we can redefine ourselves, right? And rediscover, and then really begin to live authentically. But some people may never get that opportunity before they leave this earth, because they're still tied to the bounds of the societal expectation. They can't break from it. They can't, it's like a bondage. They can't break from it. And some people leave here and never really live their true purposeful life. So it's important for us as individuals, as humans, to try to understand people and look at each individual as an individual and their gifts and their talents that they were blessed with, because we all have different gifts and talents that we're blessed with, and help them to develop those things, and not necessarily what you think they should be doing.
Mm-hmm. Again, looking into that mirror and refusing to accept the person in there, because it's also a way that we conform expectations, because we don't want to rattle, we don't want to shake the boat, right? Shake up the boat. So it's easier to say, that's what my parents taught me. There's a level of curiosity that we need to engage in our lives. Just like, I'm having conversations with my grandson, and this guy, he asked me some questions. You've heard you on the phone with me, and you hear him hitting me up with these questions. The guy's curious. He wants to know everything. Yeah. He wanted to be on the show tonight. He said, I'll be quiet. I said, no, you ain't gonna be quiet. You just want to be in here. We know he's not gonna be quiet. He's gonna pop his head in the screen first chance. He's not gonna be quiet, but he wanted to be in the action because he's curious. So, and that's what we want. We need to get back to that place of curiosity. And I'm talking us.
Yes.
Because we are missing out. We're just operating, walking like soldiers, just without thought, without thinking.
Yeah, we've been conditioned as well.
Yeah. So we need to be our authentic self. Get back to that. And it's okay. It's okay if you turn some people off. Some people can't accept you for you being yourself. It's okay. We need to learn how to prioritize our own values over seeking external validation. And then you will be able to truly pursue your purpose. And Donna, let me say it again. We are having this discussion using our book. You're a co-author. Tremaine is a co-author, my daughter. My other daughter, Ken, is a co-author. And we're using our book, Unearthing You, to guide our conversation tonight. And I did post the link in the chat. I highly recommend you get this book. It's a powerful piece. Powerful piece. All right, let's capture a couple more. And this, again, is a big, big piece right here, Donna. You know that word procrastination?
Oh, Lord.
Two things, procrastination and distraction. And the question is, why is it so easy to delay meaningful actions towards our purpose? And how can we stay focused and disciplined?
Ay.
Procrastination, man, it plague all of us, right?
Procrastination, right? That's something that can happen when you could just be overwhelmed. You have too many things going on all at the same time, and you may not be certain which way to go and things of that nature. But learning how to really prioritize the things that you have to do will definitely help you with procrastination, because everything has an order and a place and a time. So being able to manage your time and prioritize the things that you need to do will definitely help with procrastination. I know that, when you talk about procrastination, yes, we say what it's the thief of time, because once time is gone, there's no getting it back. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to be more mindful of these days is my time. My time is the most valuable thing that I have. So I want to make sure that I'm intentional in how I'm spending my time, and that I'm able to accomplish the things that I need to accomplish, especially, speaking on, my purpose in life and the things that I want to achieve and the things that I want to do. I don't have time to waste on things that's not meaningful.
Next week we're going to do part 2 of this, because we have some real deep questions that we're not going to be able to discuss tonight. So we're going to do part 2, because again, for the entire month of April, we're in pursuit of purpose. We're in pursuit of purpose, and we'll be focusing on different specific topics, along the way to finding your purpose, specific actions. But tonight, this is our introduction, In Pursuit of Purpose. And we are having this conversation with Unearthing You, your guide to self-discovery and personal growth. As this is where we're getting the lesson from, the information from. And all that we'll be talking about in April will be coming from this book. Now, again, if you don't have this book, I encourage you to go out there and purchase it. The link, I'm going to one more time post the link in the chat. Because Donna, I know that even though we wrote this book, every time we open the book, we're learning something new. Each time we get in there, we jump in there, we're learning something new. So highly recommend that you purchase it. We only have 6 minutes, so we can do one more question. So let me grab a question here for discussion, with the understanding that we're going to come back next week. So we did procrastination. Let's talk about practical steps to pursuing your purpose. All right. So let me post in the chat here. All right, practical steps. And this is the last one we're going to cover tonight, and we'll pick up on it next week. And we'll probably bring a couple individuals on the set with us to have this conversation. All right, so practical steps to pursue your purpose. Identifying core values. What are your core values and how do they align with your sense of purpose?
Integrity. And I would say, having good integrity, right? And being compassionate. Being compassionate and empathy is what really I look at my practical steps for pursuing my purpose is having those core values for me is what's important with what I do and achieving my purpose.
Well, integrity is definitely one of mine. Compassion and recognizing that integrity is one. I live in that space where I know that whatever I'm doing, it cannot be questioned. That my motives, right, and why I'm doing it.
Right.
That is a sure way of driving people away from the work, And so I understand that integrity is critical. Compassion, because we're all about giving,
right,
and doing. And we identify that as a core value. Therefore, we must go out there, empower people, provide resources to people who are in need, and so forth. So recognizing that integrity and compassion are key to our key core values is so important. And I will say that if you get our book on Art and You, we have a series of exercise in there to help you define your core values, so you don't have to guess what they are. You'll work through a number of core values and you'll be able to prioritize the number one most important or two or three core values. So again, it's a book that will guide you through the process. All right, through the process. All right, so did we say that was the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good place to cut it off. All right, Donna. So Caricia said your core value is what you place emphasis on. Truth, integrity, love, esteem, others. Awesome. Awesome. What a conversation.
It's a good conversation. I'm happy that we're doing this episode this evening.
When you look around you, you look in the ecosystem where you exist, your environment that you're living in, right? And you look what is happening and how easy it is to be thrown off, or for things that are happening to rock you and become a distraction. It is more important than ever before, because of the conditions around us or situations, for us to have a better understanding of why we're here. And the conversation we're having tonight in Pursuit of Purpose is all about defining who you are as an individual. Not the work that you do when you show up for work tomorrow to be paid, but who you are at your core, right? Who you are. So, and especially when situations are as they are, when you never know who's gonna rock the boat for you tomorrow, because you don't have any control over that.
Zero.
Some powerful person might say something, and next thing you know, everything changed for you. So you must now be able to stand up, stand tall for yourself, because you know who you are, and you know that no one can change the schema that make up your life. You are the person. You've been given wisdom from above, from God. Now it's your opportunity. It's your commitment to use the wisdom that you've been given. So Before we close out, Donna, I just want to say something, and then I'll turn it to you to do your thing. All right? All right? So, what a conversation, right? As we close our conversation tonight, and I think it was a powerful one, titled In Pursuit of Purpose. I want everyone out there who will watch this replay or who watch this live to remember this. Purpose is not a destination. It is a daily choice. It is the steady, intentional alignment of our thoughts, our values, and our actions with the greater meaning of our lives. Tonight we have explored in a brief way what it means to live and approach life or pursue purpose. With some of the struggles and the strength it gives us to rise above. But we ask some deep questions, right? We talk about reflections and things like that, but we've only just begun. So in the coming for April, we're gonna let this be our thing. It's all about purpose. It's all about purpose. But I do want to leave a challenge. I don't want to leave a challenge for anyone who will be watching this broadcast. Don't let this be just another moment of reflection. Let tonight be a turning point. So go to bed tonight, but before you go to bed, choose one action that will bring you closer to living a life that is true to your calling. That's my final piece.
All right. So with that, we're going to close out this evening's show. I would like to say thank you, everyone who stayed on with us. We totally appreciate you being here with us. We do not take your time for granted at all. And I would like to thank all our guests for the comments that they have put in the chat, and hope that this evening's show was very informative and you were able to get something that was very positive from this evening's show. Also, I would like to leave you with go out tomorrow, do an act of kindness, find someone you don't know, a perfect stranger, do something kind. Let's just continue to spread kindness throughout our communities and let it become infectious. And with that, have a wonderful Thursday evening. Have a safe rest of the week and a wonderful weekend. Have a
Step into the spotlight.
Couple lights on, cameras roll. Time to break the mold. No more silence, every story's gotta be told. Truth in the air. No filter, no disguise. Real talk, real change. We open up your eyes. We got the voices that are changing the game. Fearless, unchained, calling our names. From the struggles to the rise, we expose, we ignite. No topic too deep when you step in the light. We got the pleasures, spotlight at your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. Zenith, from the pain to the power, the lessons we learn. Voices of the people, let the fire burn. Dr. Donna, Dr. Laxley